Bell Hooks was born on September 25th in 1952 in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. She was born with the name Gloria Jen Watkins, but her pen name was Bell Hooks. She got the name from her mother and grandmother. Hooks was raised in a poor working-class environment where her dad worked as a post office janitor, while her mom worked in the house as a housewife. Hooks was one of 7 children. Hooks' childhood home and community exposed her to the realities of gender roles, sexism, and racism, but it helped her with some of the tools that she needed to resist racism. From a young age, Hooks gained a passion for writing and poetry. Bell Hooks identified as a Buddhist Christian, and her religion influenced her activism and writing. There was always a book in her household. She would rather read a book than go play outside. For her books were treasures that showed her a new world. Next, Hooks attended many schools. First, she went on to gain a scholarship to Stanford University, where in 1973, she obtained her BA. From there, she went to attend the University of Wisconsin, where she was awarded an MA in 1976. And then her PhD from the University of California, Santa Cruz in 1983. Hooks wanted to be a writer and a teacher. Because Bell Hooks began her education at all local black schools, where the teachers were single black women who nurtured the interests and the self-esteem of their students, this environment provided a safe space for Hooks to explore her desire to learn and her interest for reading. Hooks described education as the practice of freedom, but Hooks did have to leave her integrated schools for majority white schools, in which she would have negative experiences at. Bell Hooks had her own center at Berea College. The Bell Hooks Center hosts many opportunities to build students' capacity as social injustice leaders and teaches them how to navigate against the intersection structures of power. Outside of her early classroom experiences, in church, Hooks had to perform poetry readings, but she faced oppression in most other areas of her early life. She began her academic career in 1976, teaching English and Ethnic Studies at the University of Southern California. By the time she had earned her PhD, Hooks had published a chapter book of poetry titled, "And There We Wept." And from there on out, Hooks began to publish more books. Hooks used reading and writing as an outlet for forming and expressing her ideas. One of Hooks' major books was Ain't I a Woman? In this book, Bell Hooks looked at the impact of sexism on the black woman during slavery. To write this book, Hooks used a historical framework and black feminist theory to challenge accepted ideas about black women's experiences. He also looked at black male sexism and racism within the recent feminist movement. The reason why Bell Hooks made this book is because she wanted to speak up and stand up for women's rights. She also wanted to make a change in the world, but doing so, she faced a lot of oppression making this book, because it was a book that talked about racism and women's rights all in one. In the 1960s, there was a movement that fought for women's rights. Hooks' book contributed to the women's rights movement in the 1960s. This movement aimed to get equal rights in many areas such as work, education, and politics. These women formed groups like the National Organization for Women and achieved important laws such as the Equal Pay Act, which helped reduce discrimination, and the black woman's involvement within feminism. This movement made a big change on how society viewed and treated women. Hooks' book contributed to women's rights because it showed that not only do women have to stand up for themselves and protect against the evil in this world, but also society has to change in order for men to respect women. Hooks ended up writing more books and continued on with her life. Bell Hooks became very known and started going on interviews and became very famous and talked about most of her books. Bell Hooks ended up dying September 15th in 2021 due to kidney failure. Even though Bell Hooks is dead, she still has a significant impact on the way the world is today. Her legacy continues to live on through the 40 books that she wrote, including the adult books and children's books.